Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast for Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Only 11 and a half months until Christmas. That's Ian Ferguson.
Shut up.
I'm Pat Contry. On the show today, what are we talking about? A big acquisition. It might be huge news.
Big!
Wow. We'll be talking maybe about a statement of facts. YouTubers' likeness is stolen, maybe including yours truly in some way. NFT madness, the return of the scumbag sub of the week. It's been a while. Ian, we talked about what you did this weekend.
A little bit about what I did this weekend
on the exclusive Patreon CU podcast. In
terms of getting out.
Patreon.com/CU podcast. We talked all about Liberty Station. You went to, had fun there.
Yeah. Other than that, I watched The Thing again. You really gotta. You gotta make me a promise that this is the year that you will watch The Thing.
Yeah, it's our Carpenter Kurt Russell swap. So you finally watched Big Trouble in China. I gotta watch The Thing. I've seen parts of it. I just never sat down. Is it on? Is it streaming?
No, I don't think so. I found Ultra HD 4K transfer of it, and we watched
Ultra
HD. Yeah, 4K. It was fucking glorious.
Is that working on your PS4, or is that
it was a digital file. I just streamed it from my PC to my TV. Okay. It was totally legal. On the up and up.
FBI warning.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I have to call it.
Is it one of your favorite movies?
I have to call it. It's in my top 10. It may be my number one.
You just love Carpenter.
I do. I really do. When I think about it, yeah. When I think about it, it really is just all Carpenter movies that I enjoy the most.
I haven't seen The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. I haven't seen that. Frank likes that one. Or they did a remake of it like 15 years ago, I think. I haven't seen that. Yeah, Chris Carpenter is a good director.
John Carpenter.
Oh, Chris Carpenter. Who's Chris Carpenter? Is there a Chris Carpenter? Is that this pitcher? Yes, the baseball pitcher. It's the Cardinals pitcher. That's right. He retired.
What did you do this weekend?
What did I do?
What did you do? Oh, and I'm sorry. I watched the fucking Buffalo Bills destroy the fucking Patriots. Holy shit, was that a football game? I watched that whole game. That was wild.
Would have only been better if it was Brady stolen the team.
I don't care.
Because the
47-17.
That's a shellacking, as it's called.
The first perfect offense game. That is what they were calling
perfect
it.
Offense?
There was no turnovers.
They didn't punt it?
No punts, no field goals. It's the only time in history it's ever been done, and they scored.
No way. Yeah. Every single possession.
Yes, except for the end when they kneeled.
There was no field goals.
No field goals, no punts, no turnovers.
And only 47? Well, I guess if they're long drives. So that's how many touchdowns is that?
They got 7 touchdowns on their first 7 drives. They got a touchdown per drive.
How come they didn't get 49? Did they go for 2? And
They missed an extra point.
So it was really within 48 then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They missed an extra.
It's not perfect.
That's what I said, but people are not.
They're not treating it.
They're not treating
because
it
the drive still scored.
Yeah, the drive still scored.
That had never been done in the history of football, from what they know.
Yeah, it's at least it hasn't been done since 1940.
Holy shit!
And
that's awesome.
And the previous record for scoring on consecutive drives was 5. They beat it by 2 with 7.
5 touchdowns in a row.
5 touchdowns, 5 possessions. They did it 7 touchdowns, 7 possessions.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow.
Chiefs is going to be a tough game, but if they bring that fucking level of play,
that's going to be a good game.
That's a Super Bowl team.
That's a good game. Oh, Ian, don't get ahead of yourself.
Buffalonians get ahead of themselves. That's what we do.
I know you love it.
But I also said if they play that game.
I know you love it, but I was hearing about the Bills Mafia all this week.
Oh, yeah.
We know we love that moniker.
I hate that term. But whatever. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Go jump on a table.
Jump through a table.
I don't understand where that comes from, how people haven't gotten killed doing that. One guy did I think that's why Macho Man was trending, because some guy did a macho elbow off of like 15 feet off a truck onto a plastic table. And it's like, what if people are going to smash their head on the concrete eventually? But it's all good drunken fun, right? So what did I do? I worked on a Flea Market Madness. That'll be out within a week. We're up to 2016. We're into early 2016. Oh, yeah. Speaking, we talked about the Captain America Civil War on the exclusive podcast a little bit. And I got a couple. I'm going to tease it. I got a couple of really good deals. I don't remember any of the shit that I bought, obviously, but I did get a lot of video games for like $40, $50. That was nowadays worth over 400. 6 years later, back then it probably was worth over 400, but it was probably worth at least a couple, 250. So it's like, okay, I still found a good deal somehow 6 years ago. But that was the beginning of the end for sure. And it was getting tougher to find stuff. It's getting tough. Out there. Other than that, what did I do? I don't know what else I did. I don't know. I was getting over the sniffles. GDQ raised $3.4 million for Prevent Cancer.
That's insane.
The speedrunning charity event. Which was one a week. It runs for days. Week long, 24 hours. I mean, that's okay. They never stop.
No, it's insane.
It gets handed off person to person. $3.4 million for Prevent Cancer Foundation, the most they ever raised in its history. There you go. That's fantastic. It was on Twitch from January 9th to 16th. Speedrunners around the world showed off their incredible skills for a good cause. This is the Ign Recap. There was a few world records broken that week. There was a game called Kina Bridge of Spirits record was broken. A Pumpkin Jack record was broken, and then a game called Webbed. There was a record broken. It's exciting to see records being broken when the people do this. It's very exciting. I just don't keep track of this stuff. I just can't.
It's tough.
It's a lot to keep track of. But whenever someone talks about, like, Carl Jobs will do a video like talking about a new world record, it is fascinating to see like the evolution of some of these world records, especially like in like Quake, for example.
Oh, sure.
It's interesting to see like the new strategies that develop, or in Doom, and say, oh, it's really interesting. It's really interesting to see that.
I've looked up Pumpkin Jack, and it is a 3D action game where you play a pumpkin man with a gun.
Oh, okay. Pumpkin Jack.
I'd play it.
You'd play it. You gonna be playing any Activision Blizzard stuff in the future?
Maybe. I haven't been playing. I mean, they're not owned anymore by the same people.
They're not owned by themselves anymore.
Sorry, just gonna stumble over my words here.
I try to give you a hand.
This was new news from this morning. New news.
Is it just new?
It's the new news. It's big news. Big.
This qualifies.
This is huge. 67 billion greenbacks. Simoleons. 68 million.
A mere bag of shells.
Cheddar chips. The lettuce, the crisp lettuce, the fresh lettuce. Microsoft is now the owner of Activision Blizzard. Where to start on my feelings here?
my feelings? How do you feel in therapy? How do you feel about this acquisition, Ian?
I think it's great that it's not owned by Bobby Kotick anymore.
Well, he didn't own it. He was the
CEO. Yeah. New management is obviously going to be good for it.
Oh yes.
Very good for it. I don't know a lot about Microsoft corporate culture, so I'm going to refrain from saying anything, but I would hope it's got to be a fair bit better than Activision Blizzard's corporate culture.
I don't think it could be worse.
Right.
I mean, you think it would be better. I mean, it's one of the largest organizations in the world.
Yeah, and it's also one of those just nowhere to go but up sort of things.
Yes. Especially since they've been in the news the past months. This deals like this usually take several months to go through, if not longer. So they're probably watching this stuff like, this could be bad for us, but if the stock price goes down, we don't pay as much to get the company. So but I would think they're gonna clean house on the corporate level. Watching
the foot soldiers in the console wars out there goring each other in the trenches with bayonets over this, though, not so great. It's not good when one company owns the majority of something. It's never good. It's never ever good for what you're into. And correct, I don't own an Xbox, but I have a gaming laptop with Microsoft Game Pass on it. So this is not a fanboyism thing here. I like Microsoft Game Pass. I like what they do. It's not good. And you're fucking insane if you think that Call of Duty is going to become a system exclusive. They're not going to give away that money.
Okay, you went in different areas there. Okay, so you have the potential of exclusivity of more of these titles.
Yes.
On Microsoft's side, I think, it would be insane for a franchise like Call of Duty to become exclusive to Microsoft because they would lose so much money They're not going to make up the console sales in terms of the loss of the software sales if it's not on Sony consoles. That's it.
Yeah,
they're not stupid. Remember, Microsoft was saying this you and I have not. We've been saying this for years now. Microsoft has positioned themselves as a software company.
Right, exactly.
They don't care where you play their shit as long as you play their shit
because they're making money.
They don't care if it's on Game Pass. There are lots of Xbox. They don't care.
There are lots of Microsoft fans out there who want them to buy all this stuff up and lock it up just for their favorite system.
No,
and that's not how it works.
No,
not in this day and age.
No. Microsoft has taken the smart route in the console war, if you want to call that. They've taken the smart route. They've eaten Sony's lunch. Because they said it's not about selling consoles anymore.
I like Microsoft in a lot of ways. I like Microsoft in the game world because I don't have to go out and buy their new system to play their games. Sony, I still have to go buy their system to play their exclusives. They're starting to slowly get some of that stuff on there, but like, you know, like they're starting to put Horizon Zero Dawn and some of those games on there, but not all of them are. And for instance, if I wanted to play, still kind of interested in that like Demon's Souls remake, that's an exclusive. You know, I mean, that never got a PC release. So, but yeah, I don't think it's good that one company is basically buying up everything and controlling it because they can do stuff like that.
This is what they're going to own. This is the Eurogamer article from Tom Phillips, deputy editor. This is by far the largest ever seen in video games. This acquisition and the largest in Microsoft history means Microsoft will own blockbuster franchises such as Call of Duty, Spyro, I don't know if that's blockbuster, Guitar Hero, that's pretty big, Crash Bandicoot, and Tony Hawk, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and StarCraft from Blizzard, as well as Candy Crush from Mobile Arm King. So they're automatically now they have a huge fucking mobile empire that they bought into, Microsoft. So this is really, when you think about it, they don't have to worry about it. They just, I mean, Candy Crush is probably arguably one of the biggest mobile games out there.
Yeah.
That whole empire. So now they got that in their portfolio for Microsoft. It'll be exclusive Candy Crush to Xbox. No. Yeah, it's big. We're talking, it's 10,000 employees that they now acquire.
Unfortunately, with acquisitions, there are always layoffs. So it'll be keeping my eye on that.
Yeah, well. but the positive, it'll probably start with their board of directors. I don't think they're going to stick around.
Sure.
I don't think Bobby and crew's going to stick around. I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Until this transaction closes, they'll continue to operate independently, Phil Spencer said. Once the deal is complete, the Activision Blizzard business will report to me as CEO, Microsoft Gaming. They also said Bobby Kotick will continue to serve as CEO of Activision Blizzard, and he and his team will maintain their focus on driving efforts to further strengthen the company's culture and accelerate business growth.
I have a feeling that that's not going to stay true.
Once the deal closes, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Phil Spencer, CEO, Microsoft Gaming. So they're going to transition them out. These things take months to close. They have regulators look this stuff over. All teams of lawyers that go through this again. They might go through the Department of Justice to make sure this isn't, a monopoly thing. I don't think it would qualify as a monopoly, but they'll probably look at it because it's such a huge freaking deal. As a company, this is what they also tweeted this out because they recognize all the turbulence that's been going on with the sexual discrimination and harassment stuff happening. As a company, Microsoft is committed to our journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming among both employees and players. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. We hold all teams and leaders to this commitment. We're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across Activision Blizzard. So I take that as not only treating people with respect, but also we will hopefully be a little hands off when it comes to these smaller studios. We're not just going to look over their shoulder every second.
Right.
So Jason Schreier tweeted out, I'm paraphrasing, that this might be positive in terms of like not everything that goes on now between these companies has to be a huge fucking multi-billion-dollar game. This could allow for some medium-sized games to be smaller games.
And that would be great. I would love to see. I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen, but I would love to see more. Well, I've always talked about AA games. We completely lost those in the PS4, Xbox One generation, and we're losing it. We're losing even more of that in this current generation. Everything is either small, indie style budget games or
massive?
Well,
they've acquired Rare and they've let them do a little bit of their own thing, or haven't they? Microsoft?
Don't know. Honestly, I don't follow Rare. I'm not a huge fan of Rare.
But, they've had the Killer Instinct games, and, these aren't huge.
Yeah, I mean, they made that new Battletoads, although I don't think Rare actually did that. I think, I'm not sure what developer did. I'm sure Rare licensed it, but
all right. Well, either way, it's good that some bad people are going to be out of work that enabled all this behavior for the past years. But no, I would be shocked if something like the Call of Duty franchise was exclusive to Xbox consoles. That doesn't make any sense at all to do that.
No.
I mean, you would talk,
and people who want that are children.
You're talking a loss of hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, you can't do that.
Yep.
For what amounts to like ports of stuff. Like, you can't do that.
And it's like when people are like, oh, well, they'll buy consoles, and they don't make their money on consoles.
It's a fucking hassle, especially even before the pandemic. It's a fucking hassle making consoles. This is why Microsoft was brilliant, didn't realize it. They set themselves up for the Game Pass stuff even before the pandemic, that they're selling the software. They're selling Ign Game Pass. I considered, if I had the time, I would have bought a Series S and got Game Pass for it. I would have said, hey, that's worth $300 and get Game Pass to play these games.
It's a great deal for a person like me who rarely finishes any game but wants to try lots of games.
Yes. You don't feel like you got taken for a ride buying several $50, $60 games every year you never finish.
The worst thing you have to worry about is like a game leaves Game Pass, and it's like, well, then you buy it if you really like it, or you hurry up. But like, if you don't have to play like a specific game, if you just want to play games, there's always something to fucking play on Game Pass.
There you go. All right, well, we'll see what happens here. A more important news, Ian, much more important to me. This is big news to me. Pac-Man pork belly buns.
God damn, they're cute and they look tasty. So these are like bao style buns. I love bao style buns. I just had some this weekend, in fact. So basically, they take like that fluffy, delicious bun, and there's the steam buns that it's completely encased and they have those cute little swirls on top, and then there's the bao style buns where they just take the soft delicious bun, cut it in half, or they slice it, cut it in half, or they just put everything on it and fold it and you eat it like a bun taco, essentially.
What is it usually made out of bao bun? I
think it's largely rice flour.
It's rice flour? Because it does taste different.
Because it's very chewy and it's so good.
Yeah.
I think it's largely rice flour. And the Pac-Man one is simply that, but yellow with pork belly on the inside and his two little eyes. And it's stunning.
The eyes are also Pac-Man themselves. It looks like there's indentation. So I will say this. I am so pro any Pac-Man merchandise we've discussed.
Yeah.
Pac-Man is the finest mascot ever created because he's cute and cuddly and simple and adorable and yellow.
And you can shoehorn him, as they have shown, as Namco has shown, you can shoehorn him into anything.
And he likes to eat.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like to eat? Pre-Kirby was Pac-Man. Who loves to eat stuff and inhale things. The greatest, and almost shares an exact birth date with me. So it's like a week and a half off from when I was born, when Pac-Man came out. So I love that. It's adorable. It's cuddly. I wish I could buy this and just display it without it going rotten in a year. I wish I could do that.
One of the things that I
add it to my Pac-Man collection, Ian.
I wish I could eat these, but it says that they are Japan only. They are. It doesn't say what restaurant. The Nagasaki Kakuni Manju is the name of the restaurant. I'm just surprised that they didn't find a way to serve these here. Pac-Man is so popular in the US. I think I've talked about that here before. It's not that they don't sell Pac-Man stuff in Japan, but he's, I think, more popular here than he is in Japan, because there's all sorts of Pac-Man merchandise that doesn't even get released in Japan. There was those Pac-Man Tamagotchis. I've got one. And I don't think that was, I remember they may have been released in Japan by now, but when it came out, it was a US exclusive. It's weird to see a character get more popular in a different country than his country of origin.
And it's weird to see it be maintained when there's not a lot of Pac-Man games that, come out that are like popular. They've been out on like almost every console, but they're never insanely popular. They're popular enough to keep people knowing about Pac-Man. 42 years later, you still know about Pac-Man. That's what's so amazing about it. It's like an exception. It's like an accepted thing, or it's probably people say, well, Mario's more recognizable than Mickey Mouse. Pac-Man might be more recognizable than Mario. Maybe. I mean, we look at all the people and how big he was. The first gaming icon. We've hammered that home in video game years.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to say is
I wish I was alive then to see parades, featuring Pac-Man at the time.
In Japan, video games came out, people grew up with them. They weren't stigmatized so much for older people. It was a thing that everyone enjoyed.
Sure.
So I think there was more exposure to more characters. Therefore, Pac-Man is popular, but he is a piece of history. In the US, there are people whose time with video games started and ended with Pac-Man.
That era, that golden age era.
Yeah, so I think that, that might be part of it, is he's that link for a lot of American people who maybe don't play video games anymore. And then obviously people like us who do play video games recognize Pac-Man because it's fucking Pac-Man.
He more than any other represents intrinsically tied to the rise in popularity of video games. And the cultural explosion of video games, at least in North America, was Pac-Man. So I think we will never get away from that. It's almost like a reverence of the character because of that.
Now I want bows.
Even to intermittent fasting. Even to people like me and you, when we were 3, when I was 3 and 4, I knew about Pac-Man. You saw the video games still in places. But I think there's this reverence that we hold Pac-Man up to, and rightfully so. Sure. How important it was that it will never be unpopular Pac-Man. It never will be as popular as it was in 80, 81, 82, but I don't think Pac-Man will ever be unpopular.
And he was popular enough to get I think that one, and I could be wrong, but I believe that most recent Pac-Man show, the CG one, the Pac-Man and the ghostly gobblers or whatever. Yeah. I think that was developed and made in the US as well. So he's a popular guy over here.
Well, you can satisfy your cravings with pork belly buns, or your cravings for great merchandise at ultimatenintendo.com. You got the RBI baseball stickers, you got the cute Patney and enamel pin, the puffy Pat pixel pin, you got the not for resale Blu-ray, you got the certain guidebooks. Have a ball, have a blast. I'll be on Twitch. I have a correction. Last week, my Twitch was not the 100th episode. That's why Ian didn't show up. He said, I'm not showing up. It's really your 90th.
I knew that.
Ian fact-checked me on that one.
Yeah.
I miscounted by 10 somehow. So 9 weeks from now will be the 100th stream as well. So I'll be on Twitch, twitch.tv/ContriCode every Wednesday. And I'm on Cameo as well, cameo.com/PatContri. We have our 300th episode next week. We got to decide what the hell we're doing for that.
Yeah.
Talk about Tomb Raider on the GBA.
Yeah. Tomb Raider on the GBA.
Oh, sorry, real quick. I gotta do a shout out to New Wave Toys.
Oh, yeah.
New Wave Toys. Thank you for sending me the 1943 cabinet, the replicate cabinets. So these are really nice. These are 1/6 scale. They're really nice. Ian's got the Dragon's Lair one. And they sent me the 42 and 43.
Yeah, Dragon's Lair one wasn't sent by them. That was sent by someone else.
Oh, but you have it.
Yeah, I have it. It's really nice. They're awesome looking.
Metal security bar and lock. Wow. Okay,
that's pretty cool. I like the little details they add. The metal security bar and lock and tokens is cute. I always say the Dragon's Lair one is cool because it has the Dragon's Lair one has a mini Laserdisc player and a mini Laserdisc.
Sure.
That goes in the back. It has the LED, nice stuff.
The LED thing on top.
It has a recreation of the scoreboard. Yeah. It gives the score. It looks like the LED scoreboard.
And then this includes a little mini 43 stick.
Oh, neat.
The back compartment is blacklight. It says where you can store the stick. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a lot of little mini details, and they've done. I wish I had some of the past ones. The Centipede.
Centipede is one that I would love to get if they ever redo that one. I would buy it in a heartbeat.
I want to see the little mini heavy dial they use for Tempest. So thanks so much. And then Ian, you got a Neo Geo Pocket Color code.
I did. I started playing a little bit last night. It is for SNK versus Capcom Card Fighters Clash. A fantastic card battle game that was on the original Neo Geo Pocket Color. There was a sequel that unfortunately never made it here on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I would love to see that somehow get a port because there are translations out there.
Oh.
And then there was one that they did on the DS that is not nearly as fun because they changed the rules. But if you like card battling, it is, it's a not so secret. It's probably the best card battle game for portables. I would check that out.
Do you want to talk about GBA Tomb Raider or Atari to reinvent himself?
I want to talk about GBA Tomb Raider. That was cool as shit to see. So Open Lara is an open source Tomb Raider 1, basically. And they've got it running on a Game Boy Advance. And it runs smooth, and it looks like there's enough buttons for it. And I don't have a GBA flash card. Now all of a sudden I want one because I want to put Open Lara on it and see it. It's impressive looking.
All right, you can borrow Pat's. Just arrived.
The smoothness is just nuts. I mean, the Game Boy Advance has done 3D before. There's always been some neat tricks, but to see something, to see the original, PlayStation 1 PC game running perfectly on a GBA is just wild. I don't know what that would have taken, but it's really cool to see.
Who did this here? Was it a team effort?
I think it's a team effort.
Hence Open Lara. X-Progger uploaded a clip of it, and the clip went viral. I didn't know this would be a huge deal. Ian's a GBA guy. That's great.
Yeah, there's nothing like that running on the Game Boy Advance.
So this opened the door to other 3D games potentially. If it, obviously, in theory, it's.
Yeah, it probably extremely case by case basis. They probably spent a long time optimizing this to get it to work as well as it does. I would not expect to see a ton more stuff like this, but it's just as a thing that someone went out and did because they could. I just think it's very cool to see.
Let's see. You have 4 buttons. Is that enough for Tomb? I played Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it is.
Centuries ago.
4 buttons plus your start and select. It's enough.
That's all you need?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I had fun playing Tomb Raider back in the day a little bit.
I enjoyed the first 2.
They're fine. I don't like killing a bunch of dogs, though. Shooting dogs.
No, they didn't hold my interest for super long, but they were neat at the time.
Let's kill some humans. We don't want to kill cute animals.
Hadn't really seen anything like it.
The Amico statement of facts came out. We would be remiss if we did not discuss this.
Yeah.
This was put out it was tweeted out officially and then put out on their website. This was a response to Sam Mekovich's Ars Technica article about will there be a meltdown in 2022 about the Amico, and a response came from Phil Adam and John Alvarado, who we've discussed. He's like the primary engineer there. Senior management. Tommy's name is not on this, which is interesting, but this is a weird rebuttal to a critical news item.
Sam Mekovich's most recent Amico article.
Yes, when we spoke about it goes point by point. We could dive into and dissect this, but that's not the point, I don't think.
No.
There's some things that they point out. The one thing that they try to say, well, we showed Night Stalker in a January 2020 video, so there you go. You've seen it recently. That's 2 years ago.
Their rebuttals are not nearly as strong as they think, and the footage that we saw in the 2020 video. This is the whole point of that fucking statement, and the fact that they had nothing else shows that it really is just fucking dead in the water at the moment. It showed the same footage as it did in the 2019 video, so congratulations, you showed it 6 months after the date that he stated, and you haven't shown it in 2 years.
Yeah, so this is what I'm going to say about an article like this.
It doesn't make them look good either. It makes them look petty to constantly argue with a journalistic website that has a fairly good reputation.
Yeah, so you're going to attack the integrity of Ars Technica. Obviously, Sam wrote about how the portal was open and all the information about what an underpowered, 6-year-old tech this is, or 6 or 7-year-old tech that this console actually is, talking about how, it doesn't cost that much. They're saying, oh, no, this is expensive tech. It's not expensive. Tommy has bragged about the profit margin on this console.
Yes.
He's bragged. Retailers love this because it makes them and us money. And it's like, no, we said it. This whole strategy was a wholesale scheme to sell as much consoles as possible, and who cares about the software because you made your money already.
Yes.
And Tommy, the CEO of the company, has bragged about that multiple times in interviews. So it makes you look weird. It's desperate. I would say instead of writing this article, John, put out your fucking console.
Yeah.
Put out the console. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Stop making excuses and put out the console.
It's ridiculous here. Talks about how, You know, Missile Command has its PEGI rating here, and it's like, well, you can have unfinished games get a rating. That's common in the industry.
That's incredibly common. What people don't understand is that, and this is something that I feel like needs to be cleared up, all you have to do is basically send them what's going to be in your game.
Sure.
And they will give you the rating.
It talked about, Sam was critical, like we were, about how the store is bad because you have unpurchased games next to purchased games and how that's predatory. And they try to like say, well, you can have my games versus store and all this stuff. And it's so obviously no company that is confident that they can deliver a product would waste their time putting an article out like this. But it just shows you how bad the culture is at the company. You know, you think that there would be people that weren't so reactionary like Tommy, that were adults in the room, that's like, hey, let's ignore this. We'll let our product speak for itself. If the product is good, the website will look crazy. The dumb podcasters will look crazy if we have a great product.
Right.
That's what any company would say. You put your money where your mouth is, as the expression goes. You know, it's like, oh, we'll prove them wrong.
And the thing is there's been like no news out of Amico for the past, Intellivision for the past 2 weeks. If they had just not done this, we wouldn't be talking about them this week.
Well, they had their investor update. That was a regurgitation. And the only thing we learned is that
30 days, Nick
30
Richards
days,
says they'll have a better idea as to
better idea of when they can actually.
I'm sure everything is going to change in 30 days.
We're in what? We're in Chinese New Year.
You know right now if this is going to make it for first quarter or not. Hint, it's not going to. And you haven't said anything to your investors or the people who are still clinging to a first quarter release
I don't
date.
think this is going to hit quarter. There's no way it can hit quarter two because the country shut down for a couple weeks. And then it would take you a month to manufacture.
If they really have their ducks in a row, I think the earliest is going to be another, I would say October.
Well, I mean, like if this was actually ready to go and they just haven't started manufacturing, you wouldn't see this till June.
Okay.
At this point. If they said, okay, the lines are ready to go after Chinese New Year, they're off and actually manufacturing it, you wouldn't see this until June, I don't think. Yeah, you're right though. Like you'd be lucky to get this in late quarter three. Quarter four, if this is a semi-competent company with something to put out, you know, I think that's what the update you're going to see. I think the update will be late quarter three, because that can go all the way up to, you know,
October.
Up to, what is it? I mean, so actually that'd be September, late September.
Oh, okay.
But they can fudge it and say October and be off a little bit.
Right.
But I think the earliest you would see this would be late quarter four if it comes out. That's just my opinion. Like that, but I think you're going to say quarter three, because in people's mind, people think, oh, quarter three is actually July, when there's no way, a chance in hell it can come out in July. Well, they're gonna like push it, but quarter three sounds better than quarter four. So I'm trying to do the scheme in my head now about how I would try to drag along the pre-order people and the investors, how you game the system, so to speak.
All right, let's make it clean and snappy. That's that. We're done.